and welcome to lesson 3 of module 4, Pure Awareness. This lesson is called The Qualities of the Observing Self. Now, I know it may seem like we've already defined the observing self pretty well. However, I want to go even deeper, since I think once you truly get the power within pure awareness, the power that you possess, it'll go a long way in supporting your confidence in yourself. Alright, so let's get into it. The observing self can't be judged as good or bad, right or wrong, because all it does is observe. If you do the wrong thing or a bad thing, so-called wrong thing, so-called bad thing, the observing self is not in any way responsible. It merely notices what you've done and helps make you aware of it, thereby enabling you to learn from it. The observing self will never judge you, because judgments are thoughts, and the observing self cannot think. It notices thoughts, but it cannot generate them. The observing self sees things as they are, without judging, criticizing, or doing any of the other thinking processes that set us up for a struggle with reality. Therefore, it gives acceptance in its truest, purest form. How awesome is that? The observing self can't be improved on in any way. It's always there, working perfectly and seamlessly. All you need to do is access it. The observing self can't be harmed either. If your body is physically damaged through illness, aging, or injury, the observing self notices that damage, and if pain arises, the observing self notices that pain. And if bad thoughts or memories happen as a result, the observing self notices those too. But neither the physical damage nor the painful feelings, nor any of the bad thoughts or memories can harm that part of you that observes them. Alright, so let's summarize all this for you. The observing self is there from birth to death and is unchanging. It observes everything you do, but never judges you. It cannot be hurt or damaged in any way. It is always there, even if we forget about it or know nothing of it. It is the source of true acceptance. It is not a thing, it is not made of physical matter, and it has no physical properties. You cannot measure it or quantify it or extract it or examine it. You can only know it through direct experience. It cannot be improved on in any way. Therefore, it is perfect. Now, when you look at that summary, what do you think? You may notice some similarities between it and various religions or spiritual traditions. In the Calm Living Blueprint, we don't place any religious beliefs on this observing self. You are free, however, to conceptualize it as you wish and call it what you will. In normal everyday life, all we get are glimpses of the observing self, because most of the time it's obscured by a constant flow of thoughts. Again, this is like the sky, which may at times be completely obscured by clouds. But even when we can't see the sky, we know it's there. And if we rise up high enough above the clouds, we will always find it. Similarly, when we rise above our thoughts, we find the observing self, a viewpoint from which we can observe our negative self-judgments or self-limiting beliefs without being hurt by them. From the perspective of the observing self, you can look at that, documentary about who you are and see it for what it is, a collection of words and pictures compiled by the thinking self. The thinking self tells you that this documentary is you, but all you need to do is step back and observe it, and in that moment, it's clear that you are not the documentary. Now, this often raises the question, if I'm not my mind, then who am I? Well, there's a whole other program in that one question, but the shortest, simplest answer is this. You are a combination of the thinking self, the physical self, and the observing self. They are all just different aspects of you. However, the observing self is the only aspect of you that never changes. It is there in the same form from the day you are born to the day you die. Accessing your observing self is very simple to do. Choose anything that you are aware of, a sight, sound, smell, taste, sensation, thought, feeling, movement, body part, material object, literally anything. Focus your attention on whatever you have chosen, and as you notice it, be aware you're noticing. As you're noticing it, be aware you're noticing. That's it. That's all you need to do. That's your observing self. Now, of course, it's very hard to stay in this psychological space of the observing self. Almost instantly, your thinking self will start analyzing or commenting on what's happening. And as you get caught up in those thoughts, the observing self seems to disappear. But this is just an illusion. The observing self is always there and instantly accessible whenever you want it. Because of the nature of the mind, you will get caught up in its stories again and again and again until the day you die. However, the moment you realize this is happening, you can instantly step back, observe the story, and free yourself from its clutches. Okay, so this brings us to the end of talking about pure awareness. There are 2 more lessons in this module. They're both exercises though, so I want to help you tap into and experience pure awareness for yourself. So we're going to get more practical in the next 2 lessons. I am going to use this opportunity to set up the next module. However, so far, we've focused mainly on bringing openness, awareness, and focus, so essentially mindfulness, to whatever is happening in this moment. In the last 2 modules, we're going to take the next really important step that involves clarifying values and taking effective action. Inevitably, as you start taking action to create the life you want, you will face many fears and encounter many unpleasant thoughts and feelings. But more and more, using diffusion, acceptance, and engagement, you can learn to overcome these obstacles. And what's more, isn't it good to know that the observing self is always there to help you? It's like a safe haven inside you, a place from where you can observe even the most difficult thoughts, feelings, and memories, knowing they can never harm the you who observes them. And how comforting is that? Alright, so great work. I'll see you in the next video.